wasn't one, that would be the second most inane move of the day. You know, this is Joe, and I actually called you yesterday. I was so out of my mind when my head was exploding. When you have Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, who I find extremely dangerous at this point, I hope she doesn't tweet that, who are you, Donnie Deutsch, I don't care about you or anything, because basically she has Twitter following, and that's her power base, to basically come out and say, as you pointed out, what a great thing it is. We could take that money and give it to teachers. It doesn't exist. It's an abatement. $27 billion. We put down $3 billion. That's business. That's what happens. And you attach this to the Green Deal, and you are handing President Trump now gets to go, oh, the Democrats don't want jobs. The Democrats don't want companies coming to your neighborhoods. The Democrats have a Green Deal that wants a 70% tax rate, that wants jobs for everybody, even if you just hand it to you, that just tuition, hand it to you. Socialism. We are in a dangerous place, and if people in the party don't start to speak up against people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is young and dynamic, but does not know what she's talking about, and her cohorts, some of these new, fresh, progressive faces, are going to hand the presidency back to Donald Trump. I want everybody to understand that.
Joseph Curl for the Daily Wire reports it's better to remain silent at the risk of being thought a fool than to talk and remove all doubt of it. The words of Maurice Switzer, who wrote in 1906, rephrasing a biblical proverb. Well, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is apparently unfamiliar with the adage. Nearly daily, she opens her mouth and confirms that she doesn't know what she's talking about. Latest case in point, the Democrat socialist from New York took to the Msnbc airwaves to discuss immigrations and customs enforcement. Yeah, which, and I'm sure you already know this, but just for the record, very different from the U.S. Border Patrol.
Tom, this must just have you steamed.
Well, you know, it's incredible. I mean, every time she opens her mouth, she's wrong. I mean, I suppose she went to college in Boston. She must be an embarrassment to that institution. She needs to do her homework. First of all, no child died in ICE custody. That was a different agency. That was the Border Patrol. And they did everything they could to save that child's life. All right? That child's in bad shape. You want to blame somebody for deaths in custody? Then blame the Democrats who refuse to close the loopholes that cause these families to come in the first place. When you talk about human rights violations, does she realize that ICE has arrested and removed hundreds of human rights violators from this country, including Nazis and people that committed war crimes in certain parts of Europe? We actually arrest a lot of human rights violators. And she ought to be saying thank you. She's from New York. ICE agents have arrested and removed thousands of criminals from the streets of New York that were released from sanctuary jails that she supports. So a thank you would be nice rather than misinformation that she always puts out.
The Democrats, I mean, not only is it like truly dangerous people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, you know, a lot of people on the left have been saying, why does she trigger the right so much? Well, let me tell you why Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez triggers me. She triggers me because she exemplifies her generation. She thinks if she talks with passion and moves her hands and looks bright and hopeful, the words coming out of her mouth become true. But that's not how it works. When you're talking about socialism and you're talking about her green agenda, which is essentially a recipe, a blueprint for tyranny in the guise of protecting the environment, you know, this woman is a dangerous ignoramus. She knows nothing about America and what it stands for and what it means. She knows nothing about the Constitution. She knows nothing about economy, but she thinks her passion and her social justice and her feelings mean something.
If we reversed the tax bill but raised our corporate tax rate to 28%, which is not even as high as it was before,
right.
If we do those two things and also close some of those loopholes, that's $2 trillion right there. If we implement a carbon tax, that's an additional amount of a large amount of revenue that we can have. Just last year, we gave the military a $700 billion budget increase, which they didn't even ask for. What we need to do is reprioritize what we want to accomplish as a nation.
Jesse?
I heard today that she actually has an economics degree. And that's just astounding because it didn't look like someone who was versed in economics talking about that. She was looking at her notes the whole time. She's talking about how.
What's wrong with that?
Oh, I mean, yeah, but you speak like a linguist, though. I mean, she's just trying to keep it simple for the folks. You're going way over their head. I think what she's saying is, we can pay for free health care if we do this and we do this and we do this. And if we do this, it's going to raise $2 trillion. Well, guess what? It's going to cost $30 trillion for free health care. So she's not even close to paying for it. I mean, I do think she's a nice person and she means well, but I don't think she knows anything about economics. It's like someone saying, how are you going to pay for this BMW? And she goes, oh, here's $500. I mean, a BMW costs at least $35,000.
Her answer, her solution for any kind of monetary issue or gum disease is taxes.
Yeah,
it's going to be taxes. But if you ask them, how do you create money? How do you create wealth? They will look at you and they will look down at their notes and there'll be nothing in those notes.
They should start asking her how to create wealth instead of how to take wealth.
Yeah.
I think she would say what we need to do is just redistribute what we have.
That's what she said.
That's what she will say.
That's what's fun. That's alarming. I mean, that people fundamentally. I don't think most Americans, if you push them, will actually tell you that they want to go to work and turn over their check to Uncle Sam. I think most Americans really want to keep all that they have. But there is a part of the population, you think about the people that followed Sanders or the people that are following her, that say, no, wealth redistribution is okay. Yeah. That's the way they want.